Hello, everyone. Welcome to our recorded session around the attendance data collection in our expanded learning settings, part of our community of practice around summer and out of school time. We're glad you're joining us, and we hope that this recording is a great resource for refresher or reminder for those of you who've been at session 3, and great information for those of you who might have missed it. This is what you're going to get in this recording. We're going to start with Hedy Chang from Attendance Works, and we'll invite Hedy to share a little bit about why collection of the attendance data is such an important aspect of our work. Then I will invite Walter Cook with Wayne State University, who's the 313Reads evaluation partner. He and his team has developed a summer and out of school time attendance tool, and we'll invite him to share about that and how to use it. Then I will remind us about the assignment or our practice for the summer, part of our COP practice, and then I'll invite Emily to share some FAQs. So Hedy, welcome to our session. Thanks for joining us. And please let us know, why is attendance and collecting of attendance data important?
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. So let me offer a little bit of guidance and insights from Attendance Works and how we understand the importance of data. First of all, I just want to remind folks, this is really about adopting a new data mindset. We have just used attendance so long for compliance and funding. That's what we're used to, but this isn't why it matters. Why it matters is we can use attendance to improve outcomes, and we can use attendance to engage in continuous improvement, especially because attendance data is taken every single day. So when you take it in all your programs and every single day, you can use it for immediate feedback. And this is kind of an old truth. You want to achieve positive outcomes, then kids need to show up for the program that you're offering. No matter how strong your program is, it just won't make so much of a difference if kids aren't there to benefit from it. And we're talking about using attendance data and looking at it not overall like average daily attendance and how many kids typically show up, but looking at it by child, because that will help you understand what you need to do to further engage students and improve your outcomes. We think about attendance data as being important for 3 reasons. It's about dosage, it's about who needs support, and it's about improvements in practice. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a moment about each one of these. Dosage is really how much a kid is in a program, how often do they attend, which days of the week are they expected to attend, and what percentage do they show up? And it matters because knowing dosage allows you to think about whether or not a child is in your program consistently enough to benefit from what is being offered. When you think about it for activating supports, that's because when you look at a weekly percentage, it allows you to have kind of an early warning system to notice quickly whether there are students or families who might need support. And if you look at which days they're missing, maybe that tells you something about the kind of support they might need. Maybe, for example, they're having trouble getting to school on the Mondays after weekends. Or maybe Fridays are when their dad or mom has challenges with work, and so they're having trouble getting to the program. It also, if you notice this early, allows you to reach out to families as early as possible to find out the challenges, to find out their assets, and to figure out if there are solutions so they are participating enough in your program before your program's over. And when you look at data over time, maybe the first 2 weeks the child had challenges, but then the remaining weeks of your program, the child was showing up consistently. It helps you know whether you're moving in the right direction. And then this is about improving practice. So you look at absences, you will look at these patterns. Do they miss a particular day of the week? Is it from a particular school or neighborhood? Is it a particular time of year? Is it a particular program? Maybe one program has better attendance than the other. And it is allowing you to then think about what that program that's doing, getting kids to show up, maybe they're doing something special that you want to adopt. You can also look at particular days, like you try out something like celebrations or acknowledgements or greetings by the door, and you realize that on those days, kids show up, and that gives you an indication that what you're doing is important, and you might want to continue it or even scale up. So when you're analyzing your data, again, you want to collect it from every classroom and in every program. Ultimately, though maybe to start off, you're going to pilot it in a smaller setting before you do it with everyone. You'll collect it in Excel or in some way electronically. And then what you want to be able to do is organize your data so you can look at these patterns and trends, look at these strategies, look at subgroups, look at barriers and resources. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Walter Cook, who's with Wayne State University and your 313 evaluation partner, to talk about a tool that they've created to help you take that deeper approach to looking at your data.
Great, thank you very much. So this tool is a spreadsheet that consists of a number of tabs that will help collect and organize the data. This first tab is a README. These green tabs refer to data entry fields, and these blue tabs refer to the reports that this tool can generate automatically. The README includes some instructions and definitions of fields to help answer questions. This first green tab is to enter in basic program information. In this sample data, I should say we created sample data. This is completely fictitious, just to illustrate the capabilities. So we have two programs. They have different start dates, and one meets for 3 days a week for 2 hours each session, and the other meets for 3 hours each on 2 sessions, Tuesday and Thursday. And then obviously any additional details can be added to this screen. Student rosters start with the student ID, first name, last name, date of birth, and zip code. These are all free response fields. For program, there's a drop down which allows you to select the program. I should say that this will update automatically based on what was entered in the previous tab. If there are enrollment and exit dates, you can enter those in as well. We don't have those populated in the sample data. By exit grade, we mean the grade that the student just completed this past school year, not the grade that they'll be entering in the fall. Race, ethnicity, gender, these fields also have drop downs. And the reason for the drop down is just to ensure consistency across students for the reporting purposes. We also have ELL status, the student's first language, if they receive an IEP or 504, and then a free response field for the school district name and the school name. In this data set, we have a collection of DPS-CD students as well as a couple of different charter schools. This next field is where daily attendance, this next tab is where daily attendance is entered. I should say these fields at the beginning are pre-populate based on what's entered in the student roster field. So you don't have to duplicate the entry. Then these next 3 fields are auto-calculated based on the entries coming up for the daily attendance log. And so as you can see, for each of these days of the week, there are 4 options. There's a present, P for present, A for absence, NE for not enrolled, and X for in case there are days where students weren't expected to attend, but they were enrolled in the program. And so these have to be entered in manually, but I'll show in just a moment the reporting capabilities that can come from having the data in here. This first field is based on a pivot table and provides breakdown for each program by demographics, including race, ethnicity, gender, and zip code. And as you work with this tool, if there are additional reports that would be helpful, we can customize the spreadsheet very easily to present those. Just email me, and I'm available for technical support. This next report has to do with days of the week that the student attends. So for example, for this first student, we see he attends Mondays at 67%, Wednesdays at 57%, and then Fridays at 29%. This provides an opportunity to identify a student who may need special support to make it to Friday. So talking to the family and figuring out why they're having trouble, if it's a transportation issue, if it's another issue that can be addressed through program intervention, that can improve attendance. And then finally, we have a report by program on each day of the week that the session, for each session. So for example, in this data, 99% attended on the first day of the program, but then that decreased to 61% on the following Friday and 67% on Monday. So this provides sort of a global overview of where students where students are not attending sessions to sort of help guide improvement efforts.
Thanks, Walter. This is really helpful to all of us to actually see the different tabs and to understand how to use the tool. And I'm sure that we'll have some questions as we think about using this tool. Thanks again. I know you'll share this with all of our COP partners and with our members. At this time, I want to encourage us to do a little bit of practice. And the practice that we've suggested for you between now and the end of August, when is our next session, is to actually consider the 6 questions. And these are basic attendance data and then also attendance data analysis over time. So the first 3 questions are about the dosage, about the percentage that each student is showing up actually per week and per month, and then how to use attendance data to support students and families. The latter questions are for more advanced analysis. And so they are about the groups of students that are showing up. They are about the change over time, and they're about how the patterns of attendance differ. And so as part of our COP practice, we are asking that you examine your own attendance data, and then you come back at the end of August. You'll have about 2 months to practice this data to share results at the next session. And so those refer to questions 1, 2, and 3, the basic attendance data. And you have 2 options, either pilot the tool that Walter just introduced, so our SOST attendance data tool with tech support from both Walter and Emily, or use or continue to use your own data system to examine the attendance data that you collect. So again, examine your own attendance data either by using your own data system or by piloting the new attendance data tool. We have Emily and Walter who graciously offered their technical support if you choose to use the new SOST attendance data tool, and continued questions about how to analyze the data. And I will stop sharing. This is, and I will invite Emily and Walter, because I know that there might be some questions here. We're anticipating some questions. Share some FAQs with us, please.
Thanks so much, Emma. One thing we wanted to address as part of this informational video was some of the questions that may come up after hearing this amazing content. Emma has shared what your homework is as participants in the community of practice around summer and out of school time attendance. So you may be asking yourself, am I required to use this beautiful tool that Walter and his team at Wayne State have created for us? Now, in terms of the homework, Emma has shared that. I'll also share that all members of the 313Reads Coalition with active partnership and data sharing agreements have committed to sharing both student demographics, attendance, and common assessment data with 313Reads and our evaluators. This is so exciting because it allows the coalition to see across partners the impact we're having on student outcomes across Detroit, and also to grow our collective muscle for data practices and interpretation. For the purposes of the COP, this tool is a prototype and a step towards a consistent coalition-wide rostering system that will ultimately streamline reporting and lessen the data tracking burden on our partners. At this time, 313Reads is not requiring the use of this specific tool, but we just remind you that all partners are still going to be asked to share their data in some format. For those of you who don't have a system, this is a great starting point. And for those who are already tracking data consistently and beautifully in some format, we're excited to share this tool with you as well to consider what other things you might incorporate. And if you do have any questions on what data is going to be required to share, please reach out to myself directly. So Walt, some folks may be asking if they don't have Microsoft Office, they may be asking themselves, can I use Google Sheets? How would you respond to them?
I would say that the recommendation is to download the sheet to your desktop to retain the functionality of the reports and the pivot tables. Unfortunately, Google Sheets does not support pivot tables, so that those reports cannot be generated automatically within Google Sheets. However, if you do not have a Microsoft account and cannot download the template, you can convert it to Google Sheets. And if you want those reports run, please just reach out to me for support, and I can run those for you very easily once the data exists.
Awesome, thank you so much. Now, another question that has come up that we want to address, folks are wondering, is the spreadsheet, the demographic dropdowns, are they consistent with the Skillman Foundation reporting requirements? And the short answer is yes, all of the student demographic fields have been updated to the current year to reflect fields and categories required by Skillman Foundation during this grant cycle. And finally, another question may be, can I submit this sheet in my Skillman grant report? 313Reads and our evaluators have worked closely with Skillman in the development of this tool, and they have shared their openness for program partners to share data in the format that works best for them and minimizes duplication. To that end, we encourage you to reach out to your program officer directly for any clarification and confirmation on your reporting requirements. So we hope these FAQs were helpful in illuminating some of the future questions that might come up, and also how this might impact your work. And we hope that the impact is in partnership and helpful for achieving better student outcomes for our students across Detroit. I want to thank Emma, Hetty, and Walter too for joining me today, and look forward to hearing any questions and continuing the conversation with all of our great partners.
Thank you, Hetty. Thank you, Walter and Emily.
All right, thanks everyone.